Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Mrs. B, beautiful people. Welcome to, I think this will be the first video of 2021 on my channel, and it's a good one, y'all. We are ranting today. I don't normally make videos like this, but ooh, let me tell you, today I'm a little annoyed. And who am I annoyed at? if you're wondering, well, I am annoyed at these influencers who are moaning their backsides off about homeschooling their kids. And spoiler alert, it's not even homeschool. So if you're new around here, my name is Paula. This is my channel. I make YouTube videos about family life, sit down videos, daily life, kind of daily life type videos, food content. I am also a mum. I have 3 kids who are home educated, and I mean actual home educated. I'm married, I live in Bonnie, Scotland. I do YouTube, I have a little blog. I don't really use Instagram so much anymore. And yeah, I feel like because I've home educated my kids for quite a few years now, I am pretty qualified to chit chat about this. So here in Scotland, school is cancelled for now. As I'm filming this, kids were meant to go back this week, but they got an extra week of holidays, Christmas holidays, and then starting from next week, which I think is your week, I film everything in advance, so your week, children in schools here are moving to online learning. And I believe that kids in England, they didn't get the extra week of holiday like kids up here got, and they are already doing their online learning. So first up, this has kind of made me a little mad, if I'm honest. But first up, first up, I did a video about this on Instagram on my IGTV. And whilst I'm not really on Instagram just now, that video is still there. So go and watch that as well. That's worth a watch too. But first up, right, people, I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, right? And that's cool. This is just how I feel. You can feel how you feel, whatever. We can all coexist nicely. We don't have to think the same. We don't have to believe the same. We can all be civil to each other and nice to each other and respectful. I'm sure you guys will tell me if you disagree, either in the comments or with thumbs downs, or you'll message me. Honestly, people are quite vocal on the internet. So I don't even know where to start. I do plan my videos in advance, but then I kind of get on camera and I'm like, but first up, homeschool. What you are doing is not homeschool. What I am doing is not even homeschool. Oh, there's a big van reversing and I can hear it. Beep, beep, beep. I'll be back. Nowhere in Scottish law. Now, education is devolved, if you don't know what that means. Here in the UK, we're made up of 4 nations. We're Scotland, England, Northern Ireland and Wales, and education is devolved in Scotland. Yes, we fall under the kind of UK government, but we also actually have our own government, and education is something that belongs to our government in the sense that Scottish government decides how education works, how money is spent, all that kind of thing. Quite a few things that are devolved to the Scottish government, and quite a few more things that the Scottish government want to get. So here in Scotland, and I'm sure it's the same in England, there is no such thing anywhere in the laws that talks about homeschool. It's not there. So homeschool does not exist here in the UK. So enough already with the homeschool this and homeschool that. No. Now, what do we call it then? You might be like, what? What I do is called home education. What these people are doing is either, because you might be like, well, what would I call it, Paula? They're doing school at home, so what else would you call it? Exactly, they're doing school at home, so you could call it that. Online learning, blended learning, home learning, something like that. But it is not what you guys are doing. If your kid is enrolled in a school, it's not the same as what I do home educating my kids. And it's kind of annoying when I hear people harp on about homeschool when they're not even talking about homeschool. Like, no, no. It's kind of, I think it's kind of in the same way that I've seen people before in like Facebook groups, and one that sticks in my mind, this person had put up a picture in a DIY decorating group, and it was their living room, and the mirror on the wall was not in the centre, and someone commented, I'm so OCD about that mirror. Like, I love your room, but I'm so OCD about the mirror, so that would just annoy me. And I commented, because you know me, if you know me, I'm like a wee feisty firecracker sometimes. And I commented on it, and I said, I'm so sorry to hear you've got OCD. That must be really difficult. I have OCPD, and you know, that's, some days are really hard for me. And of course the person came back and said, oh no, I don't actually have OCD. So I was like, well, you know, so I find that offensive. I don't have OCD, but you shouldn't say things like that if you don't have OCD. So I kind of, it's the same kind of way that it annoys me when people talk about homeschool, but their kids aren't homeschooled. If your kid is on a school roll and is getting work sent home from a teacher, either on Zoom or Office or whatever it is, worksheets, your kid is not home educated or homeschooled. They're just not. They're doing learning at home, online learning. My kids are not on a school roll anywhere, be it a public school or a private independent school. Everything they learn is from me. So what does that mean? That means nobody sends me worksheets, nobody invites me to Zoom calls, nobody tells me what my kids should be doing, when they should be doing it, how long they should be doing it. They don't. I am responsible 100% for my kids' education, and that includes financially. I need to pay for everything they use. So this, it's not homeschool, so don't say homeschool, right? There we go, that's that off my chest. Whew, I feel lighter now. And if you want to call it homeschool, fine, whatever. I'm not telling you what to do, right? But it's not homeschool, okay? So first one, done. Next up, right? I'm annoyed at these people, these influencers, Instagrammers, YouTubers who are so annoyed, so tired, struggling so much with homeschool. They're like, what day is it? It's Thursday. They're 4 days into it, right? I kid you not, I've seen people's videos moaning. I've seen a lot of misinformation being spread, which is also annoying. And a lot of it, I don't even know how to explain this. I can really, really sympathise with people like my friends who work a regular 9-to-5 job, work a regular 9-to-5 job, and they are working from home. I don't mean making YouTube videos. I don't mean posting a picture on Instagram every second day. That's not what I mean. I mean an actual regular 9-to-5. People who are doing that, trying so hard to do that, and are having to home educate, homeschool, online learn, blended learning with their kids. I can really sympathise with that. I really can, because they are trying to do their regular job as well as put their kids onto Zoom calls, make sure their kids are logged on to this thing and this thing, and make sure the work gets done and the worksheets are done. And then I've seen people are saying they're having to take pictures and send it as proof that they're doing it. So I can really sympathise with those people. I really can. And as I said, a lot of my friends are doing that. One of my friends, she works for the local council, which is closed, so she's been working from home for like quite a while now, and she takes all phone calls and answers all emails from her home with her kids about. So I can really sympathise. And then she's going to start online learning next week, this week when you guys see it. I can really sympathise with that. Like, that must be so hard. So I'm not talking about those people who want to moan, right? I don't mean those people. I mean the people, these Instagrammers, influencers, YouTubes, who are so privileged. Most of them have nice big houses, lots of space for children. If you've got multiple children, for them to spread out. They do not work. And I say that, I don't work, I don't have a job. So like, I know what that means. They don't work, they make YouTube videos or Instagram posts, and that's their work, and they're moaning about trying to fit that around dealing with all their children. All I really can say to that is get a grip. Like, seriously, there's thousands of people in this country dying. There's so many people seriously ill. There's people who are working for the NHS, care homes, other key workers that are working relentlessly to keep this country alive. And oh, my Fitbit's telling me to go for a walk. No, it actually told me that I cleared my steps because I'm like, that's funny. But there are these people. Then there are people who have been made redundant, who are losing money, who don't know, who are food insecure. And you're sitting on Instagram moaning because you're trying to edit a video whilst your kid's on a Zoom call. Seriously, get a grip. Honestly, it boils my blood, gets my goat, whatever you want to say. It's worse than the homeschool thing. Honestly, you're privileged. You have a nice home. You have lots of space. You can go outside and exercise in your big garden or wherever you like to go for walks. You can go in your car if you need to. You have a husband. All these people I've seen have husbands. Yes, their husband might be working from home, but they have husbands. And I just think it's just so insensitive to people who are actually struggling to put food on the table, with people who are dealing with bereavement, with people who have family members in the hospital, and these people are moaning about how hard homeschool is. Literally, get a grip. I don't know how many times I've said that. Take a shot every time I say that. Don't, you'll die. But honestly, it's just so annoying. Also, someone sent me a video, right? I'm not on Instagram anymore, as I said, but someone sent me a reel. I think it was a reel of a woman, and I don't know who it was, and she was talking about how the average school day is 6 hours, the average work day is 8 hours, parenting also takes this amount of time. How do we fit it all in? That's a lot of misinformation. Yes, kids normally go to school for like about 6 hours, but that, oh no, that's not how long they're actually learning for. No. So that is a lot of misinformation. I feel like that then panics parents, mostly mums, who are thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do 6 hours of schoolwork with these kids every day. I just can't do it. Maybe they are working, maybe they're not working, but even if you're not working, 6 hours is, that's a lot of work. I couldn't think of 6 hours of work for my kids to do, and my kids are home educated anyway. My kids don't do that. So I found this woman's website. I've seen it before. I will link it in the description box, and it's from monkeymum.blog, and she was a teacher and in England, and she actually is talking about how little of the day actually is learning when they're at school. So I'm going to quickly go through it because I'm aware I'm running on, because you know I talk a lot. I'm so sorry. And she's talking about learning as in like actual sitting down, pen and paper. Obviously we learn through lots of different ways. We learn through playing with friends. We learn through exploring in the playground. We learn through, you know, all these different things. But she's actually talking about like official learning. She says that a school day is based on 6 hours 15 minutes. Here where I live it's 6 hours. So straight away she says deduct the 15-minute morning break and the 1 hour lunch break. Then deduct the 10-minute register and notices time for the morning and again for the afternoon, and 10 minutes for the end of the day for packing up, coat fetching, all that kind of thing, giving out letters. Deduct the daily 20-minute assembly, which usually exists, this makes me laugh, to either practice a religion or encourage conformity with stories based around following school rules or values. I don't know why that makes me laugh, it does. Deduct 5 minutes of each of the 4 main lessons, because coming in after an energetic, exhilarating bout of relative freedom on the playground takes time, and because children aren't robots who can't just switch from one mode to the other. Deduct 5 minutes of each of those lessons at the end for tidying up. Deduct 10 minutes from each of those lessons for the time simply spent taking a brain break or a boredom break. So that's like chatting to your friends, thinking, going for a drink of water, going to the toilet, that kind of thing. Deduct 5 minutes for each session for the time that is wasted when the teacher has to deal with behavioural issues. Deduct 5 minutes at least from the day for the time spent walking in single file as the teacher herds the class from one room to another, or to the gym hall, or to the playground, or to the assembly hall, on and on and on. So far we've deducted 3 hours and 50 minutes from the school day. That's already down to that. So she says in a week that adds up to 12 hours and 5 minutes. Now, as I said, our school days are actually shorter here where I live. She says, however, in an average school week there are whole timetabled sessions that are pointless, which serve no purpose in relation to learning. For example, you might do an hour practicing hymn practice, and during each of the 2 PE lessons, deduct 20 minutes, 10 minutes at the start, 10 minutes at the end for collecting kit, getting changed, waiting for the slow coaches, blah 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 blah. Half an hour of the PSHE lesson, because you know, you just do that when you're a home educator. 20 minutes of golden time each week. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And then she talks about taking off bank holidays, sick days, what else? Deduct 2 hours from sitting as an audience watching other classes' Christmas plays. Deduct 2 hours watching the end of year's plays. Deduct half an hour for waiting in line to have your school photos taken. Deduct an hour for the Christmas service and the Easter service. Deduct 2 hours for assessments and maths, blah 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 blah. Deduct 2 hours for the afternoon of the class Christmas parties and another 2 hours for the afternoon of the Christmas film. Deduct the entire school last day of school, which is spent colouring, playing games or watching DVDs. Deduct 2 hours for time spent travelling on a coach or train, walking on a school trip day. Deduct half an hour for each term for overrunning class assemblies. Deduct half an hour for the ritual end of year whole school assembly. Deduct half an hour for all the times over the year that the head teacher had to come to your class to have a serious discussion. Blah 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 blah. Which, when you average that all out, comes down to 100 minutes per school day. And then this is what schools class as full-time and efficient education as set out by law. Considering that if you home educate, you're in your learning environment for every day of the year, not just school days, you can kind of have that, so down to 50 minutes. So the whole, oh, you need 6 hours, that's not true. And I feel like that's scaremongering, honestly, I really do. That was a lot of talking there. So my point regarding that is that your kids do not need to do 6 hours of Zoom class, 6 hours of worksheets. They don't need to do that, so don't stress about that. If you're in the position where your kids have been sent home from school, don't stress about 6 hours this, 6 hours that. No, that's not what kids do every day at school, so don't worry about that. As a home educator, no way in a month of Sundays would I sit my kids down at the kitchen table for 6 hours a day. It just wouldn't happen. They don't need it, it's unnecessary, especially when you're one-to-one. So if you're working with your kid, doing the reading book that the school has sent home, you're going to get through that a lot quicker than when they sit in a group and they take turns reading and the teacher listens to them all, or you read to your partner, or whatever it is you do. You don't do that because you've only got one kid to deal with, or 2 or 3 kids, as opposed to like a class of 33. So you don't need as much time as a regular school day, including all those things, and your 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 or 1-to-3. So your ratio is better. So that is my rant over. That is my rant. If you're watching this and you're an influencer, right, honestly, think about what you're posting online. You are so privileged, you're in a very privileged position, and think about it. Stop moaning, man. Honestly, stop moaning. Anyway guys, I'm going to finish this video up here. It looks like it's already 20 minutes. I can see the timer. Yeah, it's a long video today. If you did get through all of this, thanks very much. Leave a thumbs up if you like it. If you didn't, as I said, I'm sure you'll leave a thumbs down. If comments are on, leave me a comment guys, and I hope you're all staying safe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.